Today, you're most welcome to join us in the public lounge above Shed 1, right down the western end here of the main arena. Back to you, boys. Let's go racing.
Well, this one will be an exciting one as well. We saw a banner finish yesterday, 3 abreast right across the line, and it's the 15 that's got away the best of all by the look of it, and that is Jesse Stroud, and he will be a major contender in this one. It is the TT for the Gixxer Cup, these 150cc little Suzuki machines, absolutely identical in performance. And man, like I say, if it's anything like what we saw yesterday, we're in for a treat. They're going a little bit further. They did 4 laps yesterday. They're doing 6 on the international circuit here at Hampton Downs, and that's a true test. Watch for Zach Fuller, bike number 4, and also Clark Fountain. Clark Fountain comes all the way from the west coast in the South Island. In the last 2 seasons, while he's been competing, he was one of the originals in the Gixxer Cup. He's been too young to be able to compete at the round at the Cemetery Circuit because they've got an R16 rating at the Cemetery Circuit. So Clark will, he only missed out by days last year, but hopefully if he stays in the class, we'll see his act on the Cemetery Circuit this year, there on Boxing Day.
So the update at the moment, see the black leathers, so the 15 of Jesse Stroud out in front, Zach Fuller in behind him in second place, Clark Fountain, he's sitting in third with Justin Maunder in fourth. So we've got our normal contenders right up there flying at the moment. So a 6-lap race, but the way these guys jostle about, it'll feel like just 1 lap because these guys chop and change so often for the lead. So we love these guys. And here we go, Zach Fuller just getting a big drive out of Highpool, and he's going to have the line heading around the outside into the Porsche dipper. So race leader now, Zach Fuller, the number 4 with Kawasaki New Zealand and Kiwi Rider Magazine on board with him. So we look out for Zach Fuller, Jesse Stroud in there as well, and Justin Maunder, Clark Fountain having a good little battle for 3rd and 4th as well. So I don't see any reason not to suggest this is going to be a brilliant 6-lap TT race for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It is interesting you mentioned about Kiwi Rider, because I was talking to Pete McPhee this morning as we were walking in here, and he said, you know, these Gixxer Cups, he said, they're just fantastic. He wished he had them back in his day. I said to him, Veg, you'd have to lose a few pounds, son. That should be a bit of a distinct advantage. But he's looking good, the old boy from Kiwi Rider. Great to see Veg in the team here. Across the stripe they go, absolutely nothing in it. Now don't be perturbed, folk, we've said this so many times. If your favourite rider is sitting back in 4th place, maybe he's the one to put the bet on, because he's probably the guy that's going to win the race. That's certainly the way it's turned out in the last couple of outings, although Jesse got a little bit of a march on them in the second one and got that winning break early on. At the moment, there's 3 of them glued together as they head down into turn 2 into the Foster's Corner here at Hampton Downs.
Yeah, so Zach Fuller just getting enough of a slipstream there and slips back up the inside into the lead. So he'd lost the lead heading out of turn 1, regains it now. So Zach Fuller back in the lead, Jesse Stroud in in second, and then go back to Clark Fountain and Justin Maunder fighting for 3rd and 4th. So brilliant stuff. And Caleb Gilmore was 5th when they crossed the line, and Curtis Boyd, Luca Durning all in there as well. So those guys there have had some great battles so far this weekend, but no one's been able to touch this first 3-pack at the moment, which is Zach Fuller in the lead at the moment, Jesse Stroud and Clark Fountain. That's your top 3 as we see them head into the Double B, and a lap and a half gone with 4.5 left, and this is the TT for these youngsters as well.
So this is a big deal for these guys, and we see 2 distinct packs starting to form here at the front, Zach Fuller and Jesse Stroud. Then there's probably a 5 or 6 bike length gap back to Clark Fountain and Justin Maunder. But you can guarantee, but by the end of the laps, with 5 to go when they cross the stripe this time, they'll all be together again. It makes very similar comparisons you can, I think, to Formula First racing in the car game. You know, they're not fast. They're not the fastest thing on the track, and we don't even expect them to be so, with about 15 horsepower on tap at the rear wheel. But I tell you what, they're exciting because they pass and they race hard. And what they also do is they teach these young guys racecraft, how to behave on the track, off the track, you name it. It is all good. It's a good news story, and well done to Simon Mead and Suzuki New Zealand for getting this happening here in New Zealand.
Yeah, so yeah, number of awesome people got on board to make this happen. And the Mead Speed titanium exhaust fabricators, they put the stainless steel exhaust. That's the only modification these bikes get. So the Mead Speed stainless steel exhaust system gets bolted on these things, and that gives them an extra 3 or 4 horsepower. So they nearly get another 25% more horsepower just with the Mead Speed stainless steel exhaust. As we see Zach Fuller lose the lead, but then try and retake it around the outside of turn 1. So we have Zach Fuller and Jesse Stroud. They had an awesome middle battle yesterday, and a few tactics come into play and let the West Coast Warrior Clark Fountain come on and had a big three-way photo finish. So all 3 wheels were touching that finish line at the same time as they finished race 1. So hopefully we get to see another one like that again as Jesse Stroud gets the slipstream and gets inside of Zach Fuller. So that's a new race leader heading out of turn 2 and into Kev's carousel. The number 15 of Jesse Stroud now will lead this GixxerR TT with 4 laps to go.
And have a look at this. The fastest man on the racetrack in that previous lap was Jesse's young brother, Caleb, at a 2:13.310.
Oh, that's brilliant. Down in 7th place as well.
7th. Oh.
Yeah, unbelievable. So they are so evenly matched. Just heard from the head honcho here at Race Control. We're going to carry on with the program as per the schedule. So after the Gixxer Cup, it'll be the Super Lights, the 125s and 250 Mono TT over 10 laps. That'll be followed by the Pro Twins over 10 laps. Then we'll have the Calcox Motorsport, Higher Song and Ninjas, not a TT race. And then the Post Classic, also not a TT race. Both those will be over 5 and 4 laps respectively. We'll close out the program this afternoon with the Shoei Grand Prix for the 2-stroke Grand Prix bikes.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. So we've had a massive weekend of entertainment at Mike Perra Real Estate Motor Fest as we see Jesse Stroud out of the dipper, but Zach Fuller right on that back wheel, so he'll have enough slipstream. And funny enough, he's going to go to the outside rather than traditionally you'd go to the inside and get the inside line. But Zach just happy to just sneak in alongside him and sweep around the outside of turn 10. So already in the short little career these young guys have had, they've already learnt some awesome tactics and racecraft and how to get this best out of these little 150s. So I think it's about 15 horsepower they get up to when they go racing and have the awesome Mead Speed stainless steel exhaust. Got 1 on the grass, on the gravel, so this will be a hell of a ride if he can get that. Oh, what a ride. Gets it back. Brilliant stuff.
Everyone held their breath as it went from the gravel to the grass to the gravel and then back on the circuit again. Great stuff indeed. Great stuff indeed.
27 maybe? Was it
Yeah, the yellow helmet here, this one here, so absolutely brilliant stuff. That's the hair-raising ride of the day so far. So that's, I think it might have been Hamish Simpson, the number 24.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
So brilliant stuff. That was the ride of the day. That was using every bit. Yeah, I reckon too. That's yeah, that was the Kawasaki Public Trail ride almost over there, heading out of turn 10. So brilliant stuff, and just had the good sense, didn't panic, just held it on and ended up back on there. So the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th is actually a 5-way scrap. We could throw a blanket over them at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on that one. There's nothing in between that. So we've seen the top 2 guys. They've out the front and bolted, but then have a look. This is for the podium at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on this. It looks like the West Coast Warrior Clark Fountain still in there when someone gets stood up and goes straight on. So unfortunately in the Swampies curve we've got one off the track, but unfortunately that's just the nature of this. He's managed to keep it going too and keep the bike upright. So
the long line.
Brilliant stuff.
I think that one was fitted with knobbies. That was on the grass more than it was on the seal. Great stuff. How those guys didn't go down. The 24, Hamish Simpson. Man, what a save. What a save. That's got to make the plays of the week. Yeah. Incredible. Let's get back into the racing because that's what it's all about here. A TT for the Gixxers as they head up and into the dipper once again.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. So out of the dipper and at Jesse Stroud to Zach Fuller show again. So all tactics at this point, half race distance and across the line. They'll only have 2 to go and starting to get into the business end of this, but it's a 2-horse race for the lead at the moment. And then that brilliant battle for 3rd there with any one of 6 riders can take 3rd place and get on the podium in this TT. So we love this kind of racing as the 2 race leaders go side by side as they head out of turn 10 and start climbing up the hill. And it looks to be the number 15 of Jesse Stroud still in the lead of this one, but nothing in it as they're going to come around side by side pretty much as they cross the line.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of tactics going on here because I'm pretty sure Zach Fuller could have passed him. He had a good run going into the sweeper, but he decided not to do it. So he's using the drafting effect now to try and pull out, oh, don't go around the outside, surely no. And he thinks better of it and he doesn't do it. They're fast though. We said in the second race the pace came out of it, 2:14.728, the fastest lap just being set there by Zach Fuller. Also 2:15.243 for Jesse Stroud. So these guys aren't playing ducks and drakes this time, they're on the gas.
Yes. Look at that third, Luca Durning, guys.
Luca Durning up into third place. So if you have a look at that, all separated by less than 0.3 of a second at third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh place. So anyone right down in seventh place at the moment, Justin Maunder, is only 5 seconds off the lead, but more importantly only 4.8 seconds between third and fifth, sixth and seventh at the moment. So this is a brilliant little race we've got at the moment with the Gixxer Cup, and can't wait to catch this one as they head around the little infield part of the circuit, and these two out the front, they're out and gone, but the battle for third is the one I'm keeping an eye on. This is going to be brilliant.
Well, and it closes up at first and second. Jesse Stroud just runs fractionally wide there. Fuller's tight on the line as they come out of the double B. Look, Justin Maunder at one stage was sitting in third place. Now he's back in seventh. He's been shuffling his way through this big pack for third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh right throughout this race. And you just get the feeling, and I know I've said this a few times this weekend already, but this isn't done yet. Maybe it is for first and second, but who's going to get the all-important final step on the podium?
Yeah, look at this, out of the Porsche Dipper, and going to be side by side on the exit for that one. So Jesse Stroud leads Zach Fuller, and right there as well. So they head all out of the Dipper nice and neat and tidy. So these guys have the track temperature now at 38 degrees. So this will be quite hot and slippery, especially this part of the track. The Porsche Dipper there has been resurfaced. There's just some bits of bumps and bruises all over there. So definitely with the track temperature that high, it will be quite treacherous. So the run up the hill, Jesse Stroud still leads Zach Fuller, but that'll tighten right up and get into the slipstream. So these guys, white flag ready and waiting. So one lap to go, and we're all about to see how good the tactics are. Who's got the decision to make, and it is going to be Zach Fuller leads them across the line. So I'd say statistically you don't want to be leading at the white flag point in this sort of racing, but with two big straights, maybe let Jesse get him on the first straight and then try and grab him back on the second one. But all to play for here. Gixxer Cup, one lap to go, and the update in third, Clark Fountain's got back into third, Luca Durning back to fourth, Curtis Boyd, Justin Maunder and Shane Miller there in seventh place. Cameron Goldfinch from Wanganui, he's in eighth. Caleb Stroud's in ninth. Hamish Simpson after his little off-track excursion in 10th, and Liam Whelan's in 11th. So pretty good depth of field right here at the moment as we have a look. It is still Zach Fuller losing every single ounce of road as he enters into the outer turn 2 and into Kev's carousel. So absolutely brilliant. So this is all to play for here. We'll keep an eye on the battle for the lead as we watch them into the Swampy's curve. And is this going to be the tactical genius of Jesse Stroud, or is Zach Fuller just going to get the head down and go? We've only got about the double B, the high pull, hair pull, the Porsche Dipper and turn 10 to go to decide this one here. This is the TT, and a massive 6 laps. These guys will be shattered after a 6 lapper. They've been 4 laps all weekend, and now for a big 6 lapper.
So heading down towards the high pull hairpin, a couple of straights. So Jesse Stroud just drafting off Zach Fuller now, gets a little bit closer as they bank it in to the 180-degree turn now, using all the track, keeping up the speed, heading up the hill toward the Dipper. Once again, Zach Fuller in the front. Jesse Stroud, is he just waiting? Is he waiting to pounce here? Down into the Dipper they come once again. He gets a little bit closer. Does he want to lead as they come down the short chute? Maybe there's a little bit of an advantage for a little bit more drafting. Fuller, has he got the winning break? Down they head towards the ITM Pirelli sweeper, and Jesse Stroud closes up the gap once again as they head down into the corner. Remember, they're running to the checkered flag this time round, and Jesse Stroud is right there. Zach Fuller, though, continues to lead it. Here comes the top-end charge, though. Will Stroud just sit in the draft and then pull out? You'll see it first as we do, folks. There is absolutely nothing in this. They draw level as they come to the top of the hill. Zach Fuller and Jesse Stroud. Who's it going to be? Will
Jesse Stroud.
Jesse Stroud. It is Stroud in the front just by the merest of margin. Can he hold on to it? Here comes a charge from Fuller. There's half a bike length in it, but it's Jesse Stroud that gets the win and the title. And how close was the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh battle?
There you go. Unbelievable.
4 abreast on the finish line.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Clark just cut their lunch. He just went right across in front of them.
So there we go. Jesse Stroud with the update. He is won by 3/100ths of a second, so you don't get much narrower than that when you're using 100ths of a second in there. That's Zach Fuller in second and Clark Fountain. That's your podium. Curtis Boyd, Justin Maunder and Luca Durning, Shane Miller. And I would say, yeah, who knows who actually crossed the line. The transponders have told us that, but that could have been absolutely anything coming through there. So brilliant stuff. Absolutely fantastic stuff. The Gixxer Cup. Hamish Simpson, Liam Whelan's 10th and 11th. Michael Dowman, a good 12th place for Michael, and just waiting for Lucy and Sarah. Some awesome girl power out there at the Gixxer Cup 150 class.
Great stuff, folks. If you want to be involved in that, go and see your local Suzuki dealer. They've got all the details, but it really is not only an affordable way to go racing, a fun way to go racing, but it is truly the introductory class here in New Zealand motorcycling. How close was the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th? 4 abreast across the line. I remember a few years ago when transponders were just coming in, it was where you put them on the motorbike, and that would have been the difference. If you had had that anywhere near the steering head as opposed to, say, sitting behind the fairing, that would have been the difference between 4th and 5th.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe even 4th and 9th in that case.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, so these bikes are brilliant, and even if you don't want to go racing, these bikes are still available. A roadworthy bike for $3,500 brand new from your local Suzuki dealer, so absolute bargain. To think a brand new motorcycle for $3,490 is absolutely brilliant. So a 150cc machine, and I think it's going to take a while for these guys to do an outlap. They'll have to catch their breath and limp back round, but absolutely brilliant. So that's been one of my picks of the weekend class-wise. We've had some awesome finishes and some brilliant. That was a 6-lapper, the Gixxer Cup TT. So that's a full-on TT championship for Jesse Stroud. And how many of those do you reckon he's going to have in his career? So
well,
that's
the sky's the limit, isn't
exactly.
it? With a father like that, I mean, it's in the blood. Clearly, we've got Jesse, we've got Jacob, we've got Jesse, and we've got Caleb now. And we'll just have to wait till when the girls start riding bikes.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll cross down to Neil, and Neil will have some of the action in the pits.
Gixxer podium into Clark. Man, oh man, what a bunch you were in, Clark. You snuck in there, but you'd slip back a couple during the race. What do you have to do to get back to third?
I slipped back so then I'd get the slipstream up the hill. I wasn't too sure if it would work, but I tried it in practice and I had a pretty good idea, and I just stuck it at the end and got the third, so I'm pretty happy.
All right, indeed. What do you think of Hampton Downs?
It's a really cool track. This is only the second time I've ridden it, so I felt a bit disadvantaged, but no, I really like the track and it's real professional how everything's done, and it's great.
Well done, great speech, congratulations. And Ed from Pete is a podium. Well, mate, yesterday the three of you went across the line almost together. That was another repeat performance. What do you got to do to beat that little guy?
Oh, to be honest, I think it's lose a little bit of weight, hey? Not really getting the drive up the hill, which is a bit annoying, but yeah. I have to get it done in the next few rounds, yeah.
All right, matey, well done. Zach Fuller in that second place, and indeed for first, a smile on his face. Come on out there, fans, let's hear it. Jesse Stroud, yeah, that's better. Oh, what a race you had there with Zach. The two of you in it, mate, it toed and froed all the time. What was your secret to winning?
Well, trying to keep up with him for starters, and then after that, I was just trying to work out how close to me coming onto the front straight, and it was all racecraft there. So.
All right, did you mind the fact that he was leading with the white flag, or did you think in the last lap you could do it?
Yeah, I didn't really mind that. I thought it'd be good to come out behind him, coming onto the front straight because of all the slipstream. So that was good.
Well done. There you go. There's our speech, and there's the three. Here's another superb trophy presentation for the TT, courtesy of the Auckland Motorcycle Club. Remembering, this is just a reward for this final race, just the final race, the TT title. We've got our overall awards at the prize giving afterwards for our overall round with the MNZ score for NZSBK round number 3. So there you go. Jesse Stroud, Zach Fuller, Clark Fountain, ladies and gentlemen, your top 3 in Suzuki Gixxer Cup racing.
Good work, guys. Awesome show. Next race.
Thanks very much, Neil. Neil doing a fantastic job down there with the podium presentations. Brad.